You became an adult at 8 years old. Not because you wanted to, because someone had to. In the next few minutes, you're going to understand why 3 specific patterns from your childhood are still running your adult life right now, and what you can actually do to stop them. Psychologists have a name for what you were. They call it parentification. Studies show it affects roughly 1 in 3 adults who grew up in emotionally chaotic households, and most of them have no idea it's still controlling them today. Stay with me, because at the end, I'm going to share one thing most therapists won't tell you up front, and it changes everything. Here's pattern 1. You can't say no without feeling like a terrible person. Not just uncomfortable, actually guilty. Like you've done something wrong by having a boundary. That's not a personality flaw. That was a survival skill. When you were the responsible one, saying no wasn't really an option. You saw what happened when things fell apart. So your nervous system learned, if I don't hold this together, everything collapses. Now, you say yes to things you hate. You over-explain your decisions to people who didn't even ask. You check in constantly, not because you want to, but because some part of you is still waiting for the fallout. A 2019 study out of the University of Rochester found that adults with childhood parentification scored 40% higher on guilt proneness scales than their peers. That's not a small number. That's nearly half again as much guilt, just baked in. You didn't choose this wiring, but you're living in it every single day. Pattern 2 is sneakier. And honestly, it's the one that damages relationships the most. You never learned how to receive care. Think about it. Your whole childhood, your job was to manage other people's emotions. You read the room before you walked into it. You anticipated needs before they were spoken. You were the one people came to, never the one who went to someone else. So now, when someone tries to take care of you, it feels wrong, suffocating even. You deflect it, minimize it. You say, "I'm fine," before they've even finished asking. Dr. Lisa Fireman, a clinical psychologist who spent over 20 years studying family role dynamics, describes this as emotional outsourcing blind spot. The inability to locate your own needs because you spent so long locating everyone else's. And here's the painful part. People who love you genuinely cannot reach you. Not because they're not trying. Because you built a wall so well, you forgot it was there. You became so good at being needed, you forgot how to just be. Pattern 3. You're exhausted, and you don't entirely know why. You sleep okay. You're not overworking by any obvious measure, but there's this low hum of tired that never fully goes away. That's the hypervigilance tax. When you've spent years as the emotional anchor of your family, your brain stayed in low-level alert mode, constantly scanning. Is someone upset? Did I do something wrong? What's about to go wrong that I need to get ahead of? That state, that constant low-level scan, burns cognitive resources around the clock. Neuroscientists call it allostatic load, the accumulation of chronic stress adaptation. By age 30, adults who experienced parentification show measurably higher cortisol baselines than their peers. Your body is still bracing for impact, even when there's nothing coming. And the devastating irony? You're often surrounded by people who describe you as calm and dependable. They have no idea how loud it is inside your head. So, here's what I want you to know. None of this is permanent. The brain you adapted out of survival is the same brain that can adapt again, this time by choice. The first step isn't therapy. though that helps. It's not meditation, though that helps too. It's simpler and harder than both of those. It's recognition. Just naming what happened. I was parentified. I learned to manage instead of feel. I became reliable because it wasn't safe to be anything else. That's not self-pity. That's precision. And precision is where change starts. Research by Dr. Dan Siegel at UCLA, one of the leading voices in interpersonal neurobiology, shows that the single most predictive factor for healing attachment wounds isn't what happened to you. It's whether you've built a coherent narrative around it, whether you can tell the story without being trapped inside it. You can do that. You've been telling other people's stories your whole life. It's time to tell your own. I promised you something at the start. The thing most therapists won't say first. Here it is. Your responsible child self wasn't broken. They were brilliant. They kept things together under conditions most adults couldn't handle. The work isn't to destroy that part of you. It's to let them retire. They've been on shift for 20, 30, maybe 40 years. They've earned it. You've earned it. If this hits something real for you, watch this next video. It goes deeper into how to actually rewire these patterns day by day without burning your relationships down in the process. It's linked right there. See you in it.